Buenos días, bonjour, ohayo gozaimasu. Es lunes. Nous sommes lundi. Getsuyobi desu yo. It's time to be intentional about brain science. It's our Metacognition Monday. Today, we're going to talk about the importance of feedback. For feedback to be useful, it has to occur as close to the event as possible. So, to give you an example of how we've been using feedback in class, I try to grade papers as quickly as possible. Okay, like definitely within that same day, with the one exception of when I broke my leg in class, I grade papers as quickly as possible so you can get that feedback as quickly as possible. I'm going to put you in partners or small groups a lot. You give each other feedback. I try really hard not to raise your affective filter. We talked about the affective filter. That's that little voice in your head that says, oh, I better not say arre out loud because I'm going to sound stupid when I say it and everyone's going to laugh at me. And so you never practice saying arre, okay? So I try really hard not to raise that affective filter because you need to want to use the feedback. I try really hard to be what they call a warm demander. Don't let you opt out. When we're playing games in class and I'm walking around and I see that you're not writing enough on your board or you're just doodling on your board and not really engaged in the lesson or whatever's going on. We just lined up to tell our birthdays the other day and a couple of you weren't prepared to do it. And I gave you the opportunity to think about it for a moment and I came back to you. You don't get to opt out. The absolute quickest way for feedback to work is when you give feedback to yourself. So I try to give you the tools so that you recognize when you're doing something wrong so that you can give yourself the feedback. I don't write grades on papers. I know that drives some of you crazy, but I don't want you to look at the paper and say, oh, it's a B. I'm a B student and crumple it up and throw it away. I want you to look and say, hey, what did I do here? What did I do wrong? And here I just had to circle and draw a line to the little chart. And the student immediately figured out, oh yeah, I got to make sure they match. Okay. And then any notes I make on your paper, I'll make it in a language you don't recognize. So for those of you who are double dipping in more than one language, sometimes you really challenge me to think of a language that you don't know so that I can make notes to myself on your paper. I do a lot of Vanna Whiting around the room. I'll say, let's look at the chart. I say, take out your notes. I know that drives you crazy because you just want me to give you the answer, but that doesn't help your brain develop. When you start getting better, I can easily just say, oh, check your subject. Do these two things match? I can start a mantra like for what you feel and where you are, and you'll finish it yourself. Or I could say, well, what would this look like if it were present tense? Or whatever. When you get really good, I don't have to do any of that. I just have to look at you kind of funny, raise an eyebrow, and you'll be like, oh, I know what I did wrong. All right, so my question for you right now is, let's take a skill we're working on. I will have written that skill down in Microsoft Teams. What skill are we working on right now, and how do you feel you're doing on it? Do you think you need lots of scaffolding still? Scaffolding is where I give you the cheat sheets, I point out the posters in class, I give you a lot of help to get there. Sometimes I need specifics pointed out. Yeah, you might make a mistake and, I can just point to the adjective and say, does it match the noun? Or are we at the point where I can just raise an eyebrow with you when something is a little amiss, right? Decide. Okay, and then my next question is, how can you get to the eyebrow stage? All right, so go check out Microsoft Teams and do this for me, and then we'll get on with the rest of the day. Merci beaucoup. Arigatou gozaimasu. Muchas gracias. See you later.